Today, we will be guests of tribes still living in our world. Written sources may not always record what is true and what is legend. Human beings can forget the most accurate information over time. However, we pass on to images that will remain in your memory for many years among primitive tribes that are still alive, and live their lives with terrible traditions that it is impossible to forget in time. The first tribe we'll be visiting, the Hímba. This is Namibia, famous for its dry land, scorching sun, and predatory animals. Namibia, one of the most backward countries in Africa, has only 3 million people living on 825 square kilometers of land. Among these 3 million people, there are also those who have not been introduced to technology, who have not used the internet, who cannot read or write, and even those who have not visited thousands of square meters of land within the borders of the country. We are with the endangered Hímba, one of the primitive tribes who dry clothes under the same sun and do not know each other. The way Hímba women get pregnant will surprise you. The Hímba living in northern Namibia are said to have a population of between 20 and 50,000. The Hímba, a nomadic tribe, is also known as the Red Women. In the 15th century, the Hímba migrated from Botswana to northwestern Namibia, subsisting on hunting and agriculture. Throughout their history, the Hímba have faced violent wars, drought, and famine in Namibia. During the drought of the 1980s, the Hímba, who had thousands of goats, lost almost all of their goats. As a result of this drought, most of the Hímba left their desolate lands and settled in the city of Opuwo. They tried to somehow become urbanized by adapting to this place. But the tribe's women who are left behind, who are proud to be Hímba, who have vowed to die as Hímba, despite the threat of death, drought, and hunger, are shouldering almost all of the daily work. A Hímba woman can milk a cow, breastfeed a child, and work in construction. Since women do most of the daily work, there is a great bond and cooperation between Hímba women. The example of today's advanced kindergartens has actually been practiced by the Hímba for hundreds of years. A woman takes care of dozens of children and helps a mother who also has a job. Hímba women rub butter on their bodies to protect themselves from the sun, and their skin turns red over time. That's where the name Red Women comes from. Hímba women, who do not use modern clothing, walk around naked. In the Hímba, the age of newborn children is not counted from the date of birth, but from the beginning of telepathic communication with their mother. When the women of the tribe decide to become pregnant, they sit under a tree and wait for the child to communicate with them. The child initiates the first communication with mother with a song sings to her. Hearing the song sung by the child, the mother teaches it to her husband and then becomes pregnant. This song that the child sings to mother is considered child birthday, and the child's age is calculated according to this date. When the child grows up and breaks a social law or commits a crime, he or she is called to the village square, surrounded by the community, and everyone sings their own song to him or her. According to the tribe's ancient traditions, the way to correct antisocial behavior is not through punishment, but through love and reminding the individual of their true identity. Now we are moving to other lands in the remotest part of Africa, lands that are not safe at all. This is the Omo Valley of Ethiopia. The mere sight of the Surma tribe living in this valley is enough to scare you. Surmas are a tattoo enthusiast. Surma tribe members who tattoo their bodies also like to wear jewelry on their lips and ears. But this is not the kind of jewelry you buy at a fancy jewelry store. Please look carefully. The jewelry is made of human and animal bones, tree branches, and strange objects collected from nature. What leaves one's mouth agape are the plates of food that the young women of the Surma tribe that she wears on their lips. The young and beautiful women of the Surma tribe think they are more beautiful this way. The Surmas are a tribe that has managed to preserve their culture for hundreds of years. They are closed to both technology and the outside world. Scientists have repeatedly offered to research the Surma tribe, but the Surmas don't like to open up to world. Only a few lucky white people see them each year. It takes courage to even listen to these traditions. Surma women wear plates as jewelry on their lips from their teenage years. Surma women's lips are deformed over time by the huge plates. Guess what's even scarier? These plates are put on the lips of young women from Surma after their lips are cut with a razor. When young women from Surma reach marriageable age, their molars are broken with a stone. Isn't it scary to even think about it? While the women of the Surma tribe are subjected to painful traditions, the men of the Surma tribe also have their own traditions. Surma men must perform a dance called sajan when they reach adulthood. It doesn't matter whether a Surma man is good at dancing or not. Every man who's from Surma must perform this dance. Because this dance is also a challenge to the opponent and the enemy, and also means a fight. A man who cannot dance this dance is considered a coward. Another name for this dance is the dance of death. In the event of any threat, hundreds of Surma men would gather, and at the very center of the land, where tribal boundaries are located, they would do this dance, shouting and shouting in a synchronized way. We cross to Indonesia, a land of 18,000 islands and arid lands that are not the last. In Indonesia, the world's fourth most populous country of 250 million people, Danis who live in their own form, in their dreadful traditions, dislike relationships with the outside world even today, are literally one of the three most fearsome tribes alive. Set on 2 million square meters of land, the Dani tribe in Indonesia has traditions that you may not even like to hear about. The Dani, who living a secluded life, are very connected to each other. If a normal person loses a person they love, or let's put it this way, if a woman's husband dies, she is very sad and grieves. But the situation in the Dani tribe is terrible. Dani, who lost a relative, sadly cuts the top half of one of fingers when they attend the funeral, smearing the ashes of the cremated funeral and the clay ground on face. Discovered 80 years ago in Indonesia, the Dani clan are literally brutal enough to scare people away. How can a person cut off a finger? Before cutting, they tightly tie a string around the upper half of the finger for 30 minutes. The person who cuts their finger is usually a close family member. The open wound is cauterized with fire to prevent bleeding and to create a new fingertip. The outdated practice was outlawed by the Indonesian government several years ago. When you see the elders in the Dani, you immediately realize that most of the fingers are missing. The young Dani continue their lives with 10 fingers on their hands because of this tradition is forbidden. This is India. Cut off from the world, cut off from humans, the Aryans are a pure tribe whose genes have never been mixed in the world. The name of the tribe comes from the Sanskrit word Arya, which means noble person. About 4,000 Aryans live in small villages. Due to years of conflict between India and Pakistan, they have actually become even more isolated in the region. Aryans living in the Ladakh region of India live in more humane conditions than any other tribe on earth. Aryans migrated from Central Asia to India and Iran. The women of the Aryans, who live in the Indus River Valley in their own way, look very pretty in authentic clothes. Aryans forbid marriage outside the tribe. By the way, marriage between castes within the tribe is also forbidden. The Aryans are considered to be the only tribe whose gene pool is unmixed. Although they seem modern, for hundreds of years, they've been very attached to their tradition and their rules. While we are in India, let's visit the village of Longwa, the jungles of Burma. This virgin land is inhabited by the Konyak Naga tribe. The Konyak is the largest of the 16 tribes in Nagaland, northeastern India. The Konyaks, a warrior tribe, have become a great power in India by taking advantage of all the turmoil in the villages. Taking advantage of the resulting turmoil, the warrior tribe expanded by expanding its territory. The Konyaks, a highly intelligent tribe, built their village on a mountain overlooking the Burmese jungle to dominate the entire region. To say that Konyaks are warriors would be an understatement. Because a young Konyak man has to kill one of his enemies and bring the skull to the village to prove his manhood. Although skull hunting was banned in the 1940s, it is alleged that the Konyak continued the tradition. Tourists coming to the region are also warned not to approach the Burmese forests without a guide. In every Konyak shelter, in every Konyak house, there is at least one skull. These skulls are a source of pride for them. This is New Guinea. The images are not from a movie, they are real. Such colorfully painted men are not preparing for a festival or a party. The Huli tribe in Papua New Guinea, closed to the outside world, lives by hunting and gathering. The Huris, who live in the high mountains of Papua New Guinea, are obsessed with painting their faces and bodies. It is impossible to see tribe members who are obsessed with looking fancy without paint. The Hulis are very few in number. As a tribe of only 200 to 250 people, they are on the verge of extinction. In the 1990s, they suffered a major population decline when a tiger attack killed about 60 members of the tribe. After the tiger attack, the Hulis developed an internal technique and started wearing masks on their faces. The Huli believe that tigers do not attack those with masks on the back of their heads. If a tiger doesn't look a man in the eye, so a tiger and a human eye don't come to the eye, it won't attack. Please do not approach a tiger, masked or unmasked. We continue our journey among the strange tribes that live on Earth, in north of Myanmar. The Karens, who live here and often appear in the press, are not completely closed to the outside world. Karens have been using touristic activities and the press for years as a source of income. This tribe, who share their lives with everyone in exchange for money, is not dangerous. So your life is not in danger when you visit them. At least this tradition has been going on for years. In the Karens, women start wearing these rings around their necks when they're 4 or 5 years old. Why do you think women may wear these rings? It's because of social status. Karen women, the more rings around their necks, the more they have a say. So if a 25-year-old Karen woman has 20 rings, suppose the opposite 40-year-old Karen woman has 10 rings. In the Karen, a 25-year-old woman with 20 rings is considered to have a higher status. Karen women keep the rings around their necks for the rest of their lives. Those who suffer from neck pain when lying on a slightly high pillow, please watch this place carefully. A Karen woman can fall asleep with 20 rings around her neck if necessary. They do not have the luxury of taking off the rings they have worn around their necks all their lives. Meanwhile, their necks, which have grown longer over the years because of the rings, will break if the rings come off, and Karen women die as a result. There have been many examples of this in history. According to measurements, a Karen woman's neck can carry a maximum of 35 rings. Karen women believe that these rings give them status and make them look beautiful. The more rings, the more beautiful women feel. Dear women viewers, would you like to wear a ring around your neck like Karen women? Please think. Please watch carefully. The Hydras are perhaps the most diverse tribe on Earth. We are in India to learn about the past and present of Hydras. The Hydras are not really a tribe with exactly the same genes. But in the literature they are referred to as tribe. Hijra is a name given in South Asia to a person who is not a woman or a man, who is considered the third gender. In fact, to become Hijra, a person has to be castrated. Hydras, who live in their culture, often wear colorful clothes, wear extravagant makeup and enjoy wearing a lot of jewelry. According to written sources, Hydras have the same level of social position as a prostitute in Indian culture. Hydras earn their living by singing or dancing for money, especially at ceremonies like birth, marriage, festival, etc. Hydras were highly respected in very ancient times. It was believed that Hydras were blessed by the god Rama. They would even go to the Hydras and ask them to pray for them. A large number of Hydras make a living by working in prostitution. Again, according to information in written sources, the Hydras had a good financial income, earning more than the average Indian citizen. Hydras born male are castrated in a ritual called Narwan. Castrated, Hijra continues her life as a transgender person. In fact, there is a drama in this story. Hydras, who live in Pakistan, are often said to be abandoned, marginalized, by their families. What do you think about these tribes and their lives? Please share your thoughts with us. If you like our video and want to support our channel, please don't forget to subscribe and like our video. See you in the next video. Goodbye.